640 Bilal ibn Rabah, Arabic companion of Prophet Muhammad, first muezzin in history. B. 580. 672 Chad of Mercia, Ango-Saxon abbot and saint credited with introducing Christianity to the Kingdom of Mercian, present-day Midlands, England, dies at about 38. 986 Lotharius, King of France 954-86, dies at 44. In 1074 Yorimichi Fujiwara, Japanese imperial courtier and regent for 3 emperors 1016-68, dies at about 82. B. 992. In 1121 Floris II Floris the Fat, Count of Holland, dies at about 35. Born c. 1085. In 1127 Charles the Good, Count of Flanders, murdered. In 1316 Marjorie Bruce, daughter of Robert I of Scotland. B. 1296. In 1333 W. dies or Iokte Władysław the Short, King of Poland, 1320-33, dies at about 74. Born c. 1260. In 1572 Mem ter S, Portuguese Governor-General of Brazil. In 1589 Alessandro Farnese, Duke of Parma, Italian diplomat, Catholic cardinal, and patron of the arts, dies at 78. In 1606 St. Nicholas Owen Martyr, one of the 40 martyrs of England and Wales, executed at about 43. Birthdate uncertain. In 1619 Anne of Denmark, daughter of Danish King Frederick Roman II and Queen Consort of James I of England, dies at 44. In 1729 Francesco Bianchini, Italian philosopher and scientist, dies at 66. In 1755 Louis de Rouvroy, Duc de Saint-Simon, French writer. B. 1675. In 1758 Johann Baptist Zimmermann, German painter and stucco worker, buried at 78. In 1772 Robert Joseph Pothier, French lawyer, influential writer on French law, dies at 73. In 1787 Jean Allemande, Swiss-Dutch natural philosopher, dies at 73. English Christian theologian and co-founder of the Methodist movement, dies at 87. In 1793 Carl Gustav Pilo, Swedish-born artist, painter to the Danish court, dies at 81. In 1797 Horace Walpole, British politician, Member of Parliament, 1741-69, and Gothic novelist The Castle of Otranto, dies at 79. In 1800 Christian Friedrich Scheel, German organist, harpsichordist, and composer, dies at 86. In 1822 Friedrich Christian Hermann Huber, composer, dies at 40. In 1829 Joseph Ortiz de Doms, conspirator and supporter of the Mexican War of Independence. B. 1768. In 1830 Samuel Thomas von S. Emmering, German physician. B. 1755. In 1835 Francis Roman II, last Holy Roman Emperor 1792-1806, Emperor of Austria 1804-35, dies at 67. In 1840 Wilhelm Olbers, German astronomer and physician who discovered asteroids Pallas and Vesta, dies at 81. Tsar of Russia 1825-55, dies at 58. In 1862 Frederick Westlander, American Union Brigadier General and poet, dies at 40. In 1865 Carl Sylvius V. Elner, German missionary to New Zealand. B. 1819. In 1867 French Andres Derlet, Belgian sculptor and architect, dies at 50. In 1868 Karl Eberwein, German composer and violinist, dies at 81. In 1879 John Eberhard Faber, German-American pencil manufacturer and built first large-scale pencil factory in US, dies at 56. In 1880 Sir John McNeill, Irish civil engineer. B. 1790. In 1882 Louis Coufferath, German-Belgian composer, dies at 70. In 1887 August W. Eichler, German botanist, developed a new system of classification of plants to reflect the concept of evolution, dies at 47. In 1887 Wilhelm Trossel, Polish operatic bass, composer, and voice teacher, dies at 63. In 1894, William Montagu Scott McMurdo, British Army officer, dies of influenza at 74. French Impressionist painter who helped start the Impressionist movement, dies of pneumonia at 54. In 1895, Ismail Pasha, Khedive of Egypt 1863-79, dies at 64. In 1916, Elizabeth Owell Carmen Silver, Queen of Romania, dies at 72. In 1918, Hubert Howe Bancroft, American historian, ethnologist, history of Pacific states, dies at 85. In 1919, Melchor Aquino, Filipino revolutionary hero b. 1812. In 1921, Champ Clark, American politician b. 1850. In 1921, Henryk Pachelski, Polish pianist, composer, and educator, Moscow Conservatory, 1886-1917, dies at 61. In 1936, Princess Victoria Melita of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, Grand Duchess of Hesse, dies at 59. In 1937, Gustav Wohlgemuth, German composer, dies at 73. In 1938, Ben Haney, American composer and father of ragtime piano, You've been a good old wagon, but you done broke down, dies of a heart attack at 66. British archaeologist and Egyptologist who found King Tutankhamun's tomb, dies at 64. In 1940, Matt Caroy, American baseball pitcher, MLB single season record 513 strikeouts 1,886, MLB no-hitter 1,886, Baltimore Orioles, dies at 73. In 1942, Charlie Christian, American jazz and swing guitarist Benny Goodman Sextet, dies of tuberculosis at 25. In 1943, Alexander Yersin, Swiss-French bacteriologist, discovered bubonic plague bacillus, dies at 79. In 1945, Emily Carr, Canadian painter, dies at 73. In 1946, Fidel Lfy, Hungarian National Socialist leading supporter of Nazism in Hungary, dies at 50. In 1946, George E. Stewart, American Army officer and Medal of Honor recipient, dies at 73. In 1949, Sarojini Naidu, Indian freedom fighter and poet, dies at 70. In 1950, M. Joseph V. Deere Aboard, French poet author Lycant Pallister, dies at 76. In 1950, Rosli Dobai, pro-Indonesian Malay student, hanged in Kuching for the assassination of Duncan Stewart, British Governor of Sarawak. In 1953, Jim Lightbody, American athlete, Olympic gold 800 m, 1500 m, 2590 and steepleches 1904, dies at 70. In 1957, Harry E. Soref, inventor padlock, dies at 70. In 1959, Eric Blore, British stage and screen actor, the Lone Wolf, Bury to Baghdad, Abbey S. Irish Rose, Love Happy, dies of heart attack at 71. In 1960, Stanis Ortaksak, Polish general, commander-in-chief of the Greater Poland Uprising, dies at 85. In 1962, Charles Jean de la Volle Pausen, Belgian mathematician, prime number theorem, dies at 95. In 1962, Walt Kiesling, American Pro Football Hall of Fame guard, NFL 1920s,